Commander Zeth Kari of the Galactic Survey Corps had studied over 300 worlds in his 40-cycle career, but none had prepared him for the absolute madness that was Earth. His tentacles twitched nervously as he reviewed the preliminary reports from his scout team, each page more bewildering than the last. "Sir," his aide Yilmek approached cautiously, "the humans have requested another meeting. They seem eager to discuss membership in the Galactic Federation." Zeth Kari's primary eye swiveled to fix on his subordinate. "Eager?" His voice carried the characteristic harmonic undertone of disbelief. "Have they not read our assessment of their world?" The assessment lay before him, written in the precise language of galactic bureaucracy, but the words failed to capture the sheer impossibility of what they had observed. Earth was a death trap masquerading as a garden world. The atmospheric composition alone should have prevented any intelligent life from evolving. Too much oxygen, creating a perpetually combustible environment. The weather systems were violent and unpredictable. Massive storms regularly devastated entire continents. The ground itself shifted and buckled, spewing molten rock with terrifying regularity. And yet somehow, humans thrived. "Perhaps," Yilmek suggested hesitantly, "we should hear what they have to say." Zeth Kari's secondary eyes focused on the viewport, where Earth hung like a blue and white jewel against the void. Beautiful, certainly, but beautiful like a plasma storm. Mesmerizing and absolutely lethal. An hour later, Zeth Kari found himself face to face with the human delegation. The lead representative was a female named Sarah Chen, whose calm demeanor seemed entirely at odds with the chaos of her homeworld. She smiled. Humans showed their teeth when pleased, a gesture most species found unsettling, and gestured to a holographic display. "Commander Zeth Kari, thank you for this opportunity. We understand you have some concerns about Earth's environmental conditions." "Concerns?" Zeth Kari's voice rose an octave. "Your world is actively trying to kill every living thing on it. Your tectonic plates shift constantly. Your weather spawns rotating death columns that can level entire settlements. Your oceans are populated by predators that haven't changed in millions of years because they achieved perfection in killing. Your very atmosphere is so oxidized that the smallest spark can trigger explosions." Sarah nodded thoughtfully. "Yes, Earth can be challenging. But you see, Commander, that's precisely why we're so excited to join the galactic community. We have so much to offer." Zeth Kari's aide leaned forward. "Such as?" Another human, introduced as Dr. Marcus Webb, stepped forward. "Well, for starters, our construction techniques. You mentioned our tectonic instability? We've learned to build structures that can flex and bend without breaking. Our skyscrapers can sway in winds that would topple the rigid constructions of most worlds, and our buildings can withstand ground movements that would shatter conventional architecture." Sarah continued, "Our weather prediction systems might interest you. We've had to become experts at chaos theory out of necessity. When your survival depends on predicting the unpredictable, you develop remarkable computational abilities." "But surely," Zeth Kari protested, "any species could develop such technologies given enough time and motivation." Dr. Webb's expression grew serious. "Commander, respectfully no. Most species develop on worlds that follow predictable patterns. Stable weather, minimal geological activity, calm oceans. They build their entire civilizations around the expectation of consistency. But Earth taught us that chaos isn't something to be feared or avoided. It's something to be embraced and turned to advantage." To demonstrate, Sarah activated another display showing human cities during various natural disasters. Zeth Kari watched in amazement as buildings that should have collapsed instead bent and swayed. Transportation systems that should have failed instead adapted and rerouted. People who should have panicked instead organized with military precision. "You see," Sarah explained, "what you call chaotic, we call Tuesday. Hurricane season, earthquake, swarms, volcanic eruptions, tsunamis. These aren't aberrations for us. They're regular features of life. We've learned to treat unpredictability as a constant." Dr. Webb added, "This has given us unique advantages in space exploration too. When your homeworld regularly tries to kill you with fire, ice, wind, and flood, the vacuum of space feels almost manageable by comparison. We've already colonized worlds that other species deemed uninhabitable, too unstable, too dangerous, too unpredictable. Zethkari found himself reviewing the files differently. What he had initially read as a catalog of horrors began to look like a training manual for survival in the most extreme conditions imaginable. These humans hadn't just survived their hostile world, they had been forged by it into something unprecedented. "There's something else," Sarah said quietly. "Our world taught us that destruction and creation are two sides of the same process. Those volcanic eruptions, they create the most fertile soil. Those violent storms, they distribute water and nutrients across continents. Those massive predators in our oceans, they maintain ecological balance. We learned not just to survive chaos, but to find opportunity within it." Yilmek spoke up suddenly. "The asteroid mining operation in the Kepler system, the one where all the mining corporations failed because of the unstable gravitational fields?" Dr. Webb grinned. "We completed it last month. Made a substantial profit too. When you're used to working in conditions where the very ground beneath your feet might suddenly become a lava flow, a few gravitational anomalies become just another engineering challenge." Zethkari sat back in his chair, his worldview shifting like the tectonic plates of Earth itself. The Federation had always prized stability, predictability, order. They had built their entire civilization around these principles. But perhaps they had been thinking too small. "Commander," Sarah said, "we know our world seems chaotic to you. But chaos isn't the opposite of order. It's the raw material from which new forms of order emerge. We'd like to share that perspective with the galaxy if you'll have us." Zethkari looked at these humans, these impossible products of an impossible world. He realized that perhaps the galaxy needed a little more chaos. Perhaps it was time for something unprecedented. "Welcome to the Federation," he said, and for the first time in cycles, felt genuinely excited about the future. After all, if humans could call Earth home, what couldn't they accomplish among the stars?